Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing,
In this lecture, we are going to answer the question, why get AIGP certified? If you're currently skeptical about the certification or about AI in general, one thing that I want to do in this lecture is address another question you may have, which is, isn't artificial intelligence right now all about hype? And if it's all about hype, if this is just another hype cycle, then this certification, after so long, may not be of any value. Well, one thing that I want to do with this lecture is address that very question. Is this all a bunch of hype? Is there really a need for AI governance professionals? And I'm going to do that by providing you with evidence and opinions from people who have written a lot on this topic. I'm going to start by quoting a Helen Toner TED Talk. We're then going to look at the fact that AI governance is already on corporate radar. We're going to see that a number of companies are already building out AI governance bodies. We're going to look at the Stanford High 2024 AI Index report, specifically statistics that it's excavated on the topics of investment in AI, laws and regulations around AI, and the perceived risks of AI. We're going to conclude looking at a recent surge in generative AI incidents, US public opinion on artificial intelligence, and the growing number of individuals in the job market who are seeking AI skills. For those of you who don't know, Helen Toner is the Director of Strategy at Georgetown's Center for Security and Emerging Technologies. She recently gave a talk at TED, and I will include that link here in the curriculum so you can check that out on your own time. The title of the talk is The Path to Governing AI, and in this talk, Helen shares two ideas. The first is that AI governance professionals, or those who are interested in governing AI, should not be intimidated by the technology or the folks that are building it. She shares in the talk that throughout her career, she's often heard two responses to this idea of governing AI. The first comes from the general public. They often tell her that they don't understand AI. The second group of folks that she often hears from then are the subject matter experts, the folks who are actually building these AI systems. And they often say to Helen, I don't understand AI and neither does anyone else. And so that's where this first point comes from. Don't be intimidated by the technology or the folks that are building it. We're all figuring this out now together in real time. And so the fact that you may not have experience with artificial intelligence, the fact that you may not understand the technology very well, that should not be a barrier for entry to you. That's something that Helen Toner believes in and something that I believe in as well. In consolidating this curriculum and putting it together and ensuring that you don't need to have any background in AI, IT, privacy, etc., I want to make sure that this topic is approachable for everyone. The second idea that Helen Toner puts forth in this talk is to focus on adaptability, not certainty. And again, I think the thing there is that this is a technology that we're all working out right now. There are a lot of things that are uncertain, and we shouldn't be afraid to jump in and learn and adapt as we all figure this out together. On the topic of hype, I want to share with you this article from the Harvard Law School Forum on Corporate Governance. This is a recent finding that was published in April of 2024. And one of the key takeaways from this article is that, and this is the final bullet point on the list of takeaways, as AI becomes a material factor for many companies, investors may start to demand that companies not only disclose relevant board skills and oversight responsibilities, but also enhance disclosure on artificial intelligence. Again, the key takeaway here is that investors are going to be requiring that the board of directors demonstrate sufficient governance of AI systems. And that pressure is going to require that organizations begin standing up AI governance bodies. Another report that I want to share with you is a 2023 report. This is the IAPP EY Professionalizing Organizational AI Governance Report. This report pulls from over 500 respondents across 50 countries, and the report found of the 500 responses that 74% of organizations were either using or planning to use AI within the next 12 months, that 60% of those organizations have or will establish an AI governance body in the next 12 months. And finally, that AI governance was the second most important strategic priority for these organizations. The next three charts that we're going to look at all come from the Stanford HAI 2024 AI Index Report. HAI, H-A-I, is an acronym that stands for Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence. And Stanford HAI is an institute at Stanford University that focuses on human-centered AI. The first chart that I want to share with you, this should be pretty self-explanatory. This focuses on investment in generative AI since 2019. And you can see this tremendous leap from 2022 to 2023. Total investment grew from $2.85 billion in 2022 to over $25 billion in 2023. Also growing significantly over the last several years are the number of AI-related regulations and laws throughout the world. The chart on the left-hand side here shows us the number of AI-related regulations in the United States. Again, from 2016, where we have single-digit number of regulations, from 2023 growing all the way to 25. On the right-hand chart, this is a number of AI-related bills passed into law in select countries by approach from 2016 to 2023. And again, you can see here that there's been tremendous growth over the last few years. The final chart that I want to share from the Stanford HAI Index is that corporations do perceive the risks that AI pose for their organizations. At the very bottom here, we see that these risks are grouped into 5 different buckets: privacy and data governance, reliability, security, transparency, and fairness. These are all important principles of AI governance, as we're going to learn in this course. The main takeaway from this chart is that organizations do understand that there are risks associated with implementing and using AI systems, and those risks are going to require risk assessment and management by experienced AI governance professionals. Another fascinating statistic comes from the OECD Digital Economy Outlook 2024. As you can see here, they found that there was a 53-fold increase in Gen AI here standing for generative AI, a 53-fold increase in Gen AI incidents and hazards reported by reputable news outlets globally since late 2022. And if you're wondering what that takeoff point there is, in November of 2022, we have the public launch of ChatGPT. And as that technology became widely available to the public, of course, the number of incidents is going to increase. Now, you may be thinking, well, what type of incidents and hazards might there be associated with Gen AI? And those harms, those risks, the way to assess and manage those risks to mitigate them, that is a major focus point for the AIGP certification curriculum. The 2 charts that you see here come from the Pew Research Center. I want to focus on the one on the left first. You'll see here this is reflecting data concerning the number of US adults who say the increased use of artificial intelligence in daily life makes them feel more concerned than excited, starting at the bottom, equally excited and concerned in the middle, or more excited than concerned at the top. If we look at data from 2021 to 2023, we'll see that more individuals have expressed concern with the technology than excitement. On the right-hand side over here, I was shocked to see that most Americans cannot identify which everyday products use artificial intelligence. This chart shows the number of US adults who identify that the technologies listed here use artificial intelligence in multiple choice questions. And so, for example, the very top one, 68% of US adults correctly identified wearable fitness trackers that analyze exercise and sleeping patterns as containing artificial intelligence. At the very bottom, we see in contrast that only 51% of US adults knew that email services categorizing an email as spam utilized artificial intelligence. Another assessment of US public opinion found that there was majority support for 3 topics: labeling AI-generated content, ensuring that AI companies were held legally liable for harms, and finally, requiring AI companies to disclose details about models and training. And this data came from the Center for Data Innovation's What Does the Public Think About AI?, which was released in mid-2024. And the final statistic that I want to share with you comes from a Wall Street Journal article. This article reported on a Microsoft LinkedIn 2024 Work Trend Index. And they found in their analysis of the data that there was a 142x increase in LinkedIn profiles mentioning Copilot and ChatGPT skills. The takeaway here being that individuals understand the importance of artificial intelligence, and they're looking at procuring skills that are going to help them not only do their jobs more successfully, but help them stand out in the job market. In this lecture, we answered the question, why get AIGP certified? In doing so, I wanted to address a question that you may have concerning whether or not artificial intelligence is all a bunch of hype. I believe that the data that we shared here shows that across the public and private sectors, people are really buying into artificial intelligence. There is a lot of evidence suggesting that artificial intelligence is going to be around, that organizations are adopting AI systems either for improving internal productivity and efficiency, or incorporating those systems into their product line. And regardless of how these organizations are using the systems, they're going to need AI governance professionals to help them manage them. We looked at a recent TED Talk from Helen Toner. Her two main takeaways were: one, don't be intimidated by the technology or the folks building it. Number two, focus on adaptability, not certainty. We looked at a Harvard Law School article that shows that AI governance is appearing on corporate radar. We looked at an IAPP governance report that showed that in 2023, 74% of organizations were either using or planning to use AI within the next 12 months, that 60% of those organizations either have or will establish AI governance within the next 12 months, and that AI governance was the second most important strategic priority for these organizations. We then looked at data from the Stanford High 2024 AI Index report. That data shows that investment in Gen AI is skyrocketing, as are the number of laws and regulations targeting artificial intelligence around the world. We also saw that privacy and governance are being perceived as top risks needing the attention of AI governance professionals. We saw in the OECD Digital Economy Outlook for 2024 a 53-fold rise in Gen AI incidents since the release of ChatGPT in November 2022. We also saw concerning US public opinion that Americans don't understand artificial intelligence as a technology. They have concerns about artificial intelligence's use and incorporation into their daily lives, and that the majority of Americans support labeling AI-generated content, legal liability for AI companies, and requiring that AI companies disclose details about their models and the training of those models. Finally, we saw in a 2024 Work Trend Index a 142x increase in LinkedIn profiles mentioning Copilot and ChatGPT skills.